Hey everyone, this is Lucid, and I'm joined once again by Demosthenes.
Folks. I'm excited to share with y'all sort of the closing phase of this cold Rhaga game.
Cool. So I think, in a kind of short summary of where we were, we're in the game's mostly won now. You've put Zabalba down for all intents and purposes. Did they have anything left after last episode?
Zabalba's, I think last episode had the storming of their cap, which is all they had. So
Right.
they're out of the game.
Yeah.
That actually means that we're super rich because all of their land we're now getting the sort
Oh,
of
the good scales.
positive parts of the scales. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we should be able to see that in the score graph here. Yeah, nice little uptick here. Oh, wait, was that income? Yeah, it
Second,
was.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, we should look at the gem income one because it's a little bit funny. So I'd actually spent gems somewhat with abandon during the Zabalba War, thinking that I'd get more gem income out of it. And it was actually, I'd done a lot better job site searching than
Oh my
this
God.
Volva had.
Yeah, that's
That's
usually a pretty good way to tell if you need to site search enemy lands is like if you look at the change in your province graph, like assuming you site searched your lands really well. If you look at the change in your province graph and you see this, and then you look at the change in your gem income graph and you see like this, means there's a lot of gems to be had in the new lands you got.
and that last big spike, like the tall one is Gilgate, right? So the no, a
Oh
little bit,
shit.
let's see, three
This
quarters of the
one.
way down. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's Gilgate, right? So like,
Yeah.
I got about
Jesus.
20 gems a turn out of out
Off the
of eating all of
Zababa.
Zabalba.
That's pretty bad. But
Some of that is luck of just what sort of sites you get in your land, but
oh man.
um,
Has Ballin done anything? Has he just basically chain staled?
he's been replaced by a sub.
Oh, he
Um,
has. Okay. When was that?
Not very long ago. I think this might be like the second or third turn that the sub has been in charge. And I think
Okay.
he basically started marching off. You can see that he's got that big army in the cave. So he's
Right.
marched it one province east from where it had sat for most of the game. Go and attack Batala, and now there's a throne throne victory being attempted. And unfortunately, we won't actually end up seeing that army fight. I guess that was sort of around the holidays. Turns were really slow because I was actually super busy with another game, and sort of the game was anyway. So he ends up marching east with that army. So it never makes
Oh.
it back to have a fight with it. But I think he's so far behind in research that it
Oh
wouldn't
yeah.
just
I would
drop
be.
anywhere.
I think irrelevant, but you know.
Yeah, so we can see on that front though, there's a throne right next to it that is currently an Indie Springhawk throne, and
Right.
I'm basically taking all the troops that are left in Zabalba to take that. So it's a pretty big force, and then there's more actually that's marching to the province north of it that isn't quite fast enough. So
Right. 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 This army.
yeah, so that army is the
Right.
stuff that you have the
Okay.
map of to make it 2 turns. And then if you actually go east, there's another throne that we're going
Oh,
after that
east.
is
Okay.
held by Batala south. So this army that is yeah. So and if I recall correctly, I think I'm using my cauldrons of the Elven Halls again the turn before. So that army is actually I think invisible to Atlantis.
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
That's sort of I've actually just moved those around to do different sort of surprise maneuvers. But anyway, yeah. So I think that's going to go and attack that throne, and the hope is that Atlantis won't know that they need to be marching that way to
Right.
resist it.
Okay. So you're making an attack on two thrones here.
And then there's one
This
also on the east. Yeah. So
this
this is the throne
throne you popped.
just moved on to this turn from Gath and
Now refresh my memory. How big of an army is inside here?
moderate. So actually, if you want to, there's actually a cool little skirmish to watch because I think I magic phased attached that fort.
Oh, oh, a bunch of
And
horrors. Oh my god.
yeah, so this was actually an interaction that I hadn't tried before. So this is the thing which I played with against Batala earlier is putting a phantasmal army to horrors. And as you can see,
That's a good combo because the horrors are killy.
because that Kohen Gadol is killing phantasms while he's getting
Yeah, blendered by
hit by
horrors.
the horrors. And actually managed to chop through his regeneration pretty well. It's close, but he's down to 10 HP.
Yeah, it's a vine shield. Do they have? Oh, yeah, it's magic scales too. So
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah, that's a good combo.
something I like did not expect when I opened the battle and saw that there was a fully thugged out Kohen Gadol that I guess it's 4 casts of horrors, but that they were gonna kill him. But it was 2 casts of horrors, and the other 2
Yeah,
commanders are the Phantasmal Army commanders. So
yeah,
yeah,
it's kind
sort
of
of
funny.
full
It makes
interaction,
me
but
think of Hinnom because a lot of times Hinnom will do hell power, and then you have to fight off lesser horrors, and just they can do a
mhm,
lot better than this Cohen Gadol did. But
yeah.
Melkort's are a little tougher.
I mean, the extra attack really helps for chopping through
Yeah,
stuff. But also, look, he killed 10 Phantasmal soldiers. And I think with his weapon, he would have been killing a horror instead if they'd been in front of him.
Oh yeah,
Right? So
yeah. I'm pretty sure that saved him. I mean, it's a good combo, right? Because it's on one hand, Phantasmal Warriors barely do anything except soak hits, and then most all the horrors are more glass cannony than anything for the
yeah,
lesser horrors anyway.
it's certainly very high damage output. Some of them are a little bit tough, but
Right.
regardless, that just the damage output is incredible. So
Yeah. And then you move the
Um,
army in behind, but he moves an army in also. But you've got
this
rid of
is
the
this is
PD. Oh my god, this thing's gonna get dumpstered.
this is the
Oh,
sort of
it's already killed that dude.
soul slate. So this is a full army, and one of the things about Cold Rhaga that you can sort of see here is that I just the incredible mobility of one's mage core. Like I
Yep.
am able to bring a sort of just a ridiculous amount of stuff.
Banefire, Thunderstrike,
So
Thunderfan.
this is a hot Rhaga sort of Sabbath as the structure,
Right.
like the sort of command for this army. So there's a few of the Cold Rhaga mages in the community to do things like Fog Warriors, but most of it is the Banefire Incinerate type stuff.
Yeah, there's some Soul Slays just yeeting people still. So it looks like you came out ahead in troops. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a few
few
crossbowmen out of the yeah. Lost one troop, gained 3 crossbows.
Nice. It's also weird because I mean normally 50 crossbows will get a few kills. If nothing else, just in that first volley. Okay. So that's in a bad way for him now because he's got a huge army that's popped his popped his fort.
He's got a medium, he's got a mage core in there, and I think he's
Right.
gonna summon some troops, but it's pretty dire for that fort. You can see that his army that had been sieging one of my forts retreated to that forest in the
Oh yeah.
the other one. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can see there what I was able to fly in to kick him off my fort. And he definitely, I think, was correct to
Right.
back off there. This is just a lot of mage commitment.
Yeah, a lot of this from Gath is really just echoes of earlier things. Like him taking a long time to finish off Ulm really, really hurt him.
Yeah, exactly.
Finishing your wars
he's-
quickly is probably like the most important thing. I mean, not the most. Like diplomacy is really important. Being able to win. I mean, there's a lot of things that are important, but finishing your war quickly. And then obviously it takes a lot of skills to do that, right? Like you have to have decent diplomacy to do it. You have to, I mean, all those things kind of combined, but being stuck in a long war, just the opposite of that, not good.
Yeah, and he lost so many Gibbers getting soul slate on Ulm capital and so on, right? Like it's sort
Yeah.
of, he could have another 2 big armies if his war
Right.
with Ulm had been more of a stomp.
And Gibbers are one of the things too, like 50 Gibbers you can deal with, right? But 200 Gibbers starts kind of feeling overwhelming. It's like,
Yeah.
shit. Because, maybe you have something to kill 50 Gibbers reasonably quickly, but if there's 200, then there's going to be 150 Gibbers just murking your stuff. That's a lot of death and destruction.
All your mages fell asleep,
Yeah.
they ran out of fatigue killing the first 50.
Right.
You can actually, the one province south of that has a little bit of an interesting thing to just follow up on. So last turn we'd had this Levite priest come out with 5 Gibbers to do raiding. And so this is sort of my approach to sort of trap that group there is.
I mean, this is a great choice here because, these Gibbers are expensive. So anytime you have like a really weak commander leading really expensive troops, the weak link in that is obviously the commander.
Mhm.
So that can also be good against
and,
certain kinds of demon raiding too, depending on what's leading them. But like you might see a raiding squad of 10 demons. I mean, demons are kind of expensive, so
actually,
their commander.
And to follow up on a thing we talked about, you can see that this force is actually, I also brought in 2 Arya Samabads to do sort of lighter skilly spam to support him.
Oh,
so
cool. Let's take a look at that.
So they just have the Amulet of the Dead. Because the Vampire Lord, is a moderate amount of skelly spam. It's not, ridiculous. And
Well, his is a lot of upfront. Like it's a lot of skeletons at the beginning, but the sustain isn't amazing.
exactly, the sustain isn't amazing. So the 2 of them provide a bunch of added sustain.
Yeah, because these guys are only at
But they're
70
not-
fatigue at the end, and this guy's at
they're not
90.
fatigued.
So
Hmm.
cool. That's a neat idea.
I think that's most of it. Actually, you should look at the parties in the 2 forests west of my capital, and there might even be a fight on my capital that is also of interest. So this is, I think he had this. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I had this sort of.
Did you expect
fluffed-
this?
Yeah, I mean, he was in a province next to the capital. I thought he might be
Oh, okay. I was
tempted.
thinking this was Magic Face, but obviously it's not. Okay.
Yeah, it's just one of these Sarans, which are a weird unit.
Yeah, no paths, but pretty good stats. Decent base gear. He didn't get enlarge off on this guy.
No, he did not.
It looks like he was trying to. Yeah, it is really hard to thug into air elementals.
Well, that's not what it gets him. Though, I mean, he was probably going to die to the elementals, but he got weapons of sharpness on those frost fiends. It was like I just like my Magus recruiting fort happened to be next to this, so this is sort of my like last minute, throw together something defense.
I don't see weapons of sharpness here. Oh, there's some of the imps.
I mean, maybe it missed, but it doesn't matter.
It's overkill. Like he would have died from so many things.
I think that's more the
the gear?
Vine shield flesh eater kind of thing. Yeah, it's
just
not. It's a solid light thug, right? Like
it's kind of interesting. I just watch this and I just think like, man, this just makes me want to play Hinnom.
Yeah.
It's like trying to be Hinnom. It's like you ain't Hinnom.
Yeah. Right. I think those are the main sort of a little bit of interesting raiding things. I've sort of retaken all of my land that they raided into at the start of the war.
So the other interesting thing is you're going on Gath. I mean, Atlantis over here. Now, Atlantis hasn't attacked you yet, right?
We haven't had a nap since we became neighbors. It's been sort of more of I'm not planning to mess with you sort of relationship. And they're quite occupied with eating Patala, who as viewers may recall went AI a few turns ago. So that it's sort of not much of a contest there. But as you can see, they're doing the right thing and have a big army defending their throne. Next to the player who might throne rush.
Throne rush. I mean, the game's over.
Yeah.
How many thrones do you need? You're going for 3 right now.
That's 6.
Do you have the outer throne?
I think that. I think I'm going for like a total of 8 right now.
Oh, you are? Okay.
So it is definitely overkill, which I think is a good thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
If there's some risk that somebody might pull up a defense. And I do not get all of the thrones that I go for.
All right. Well, let's go watch it. Let's do 58.
So on this.
All right, we got turn 58 here. So
you can see that there's a steady exchange of disease demons between us and between me and Gath.
Right.
They're pretty effective at, especially my sort of Arya Seraphs, which are very non-resilient mages.
It's time for some extreme weather.
That was my I'm throne rushing since my god is extreme weather message.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, I mean, we'll call this a throne. I think it's a mercy kill.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody agreed that I needed to end the game for us. So this was.
Oh, this is the Spring Hawk's throne.
Hawk throne, yeah.
Are you planning on Magic Phase forting this too?
Nope. Sure. I don't have the gems to do it because I think that Gath, despite they're sort of losing the fighting over there, they really disrupted my blood hunting operations. So I don't actually think I have the blood slaves or the earth gems for it.
Okay.
I also, you can see I have a huge army there, so I don't think anybody can oppose that position, right?
Well, Agartha might have, but I mean,
Agartha might have, but again, their army was going to melt the firestorm. Like they don't have the tech to do anything about it.
Okay, so we got this throne. You got somebody here to claim it. Yep.
Yeah, so my pretender.
Extreme weather.
One of the things actually that's been very nice about that pretender chassis is the mobility is incredible. So
right.
It's
flying
moving
is super nice. 42
from throne to the next diagonal throne, and you can see I've got the enlarge item to eke out a little bit extra.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The boots of the 7 mile strides.
And then this is the Atlantis Throne. You hit it. Well, should we look at we'll look at the special monsters here first.
Yeah, so the horrors kill.
Oh, there's nothing here. Forgiving Father.
He sends in 1 gem baiter or something like that. So there'll be a battle there next turn.
Yeah. And then the Gath Throne, you are storming, I presume.
Yeah.
All right. So this will be a cool battle. It's kind of interesting too. It's one of the things I'm like kind of curious about. I mean, in some ways it's over, so I don't know how much effort people are putting into it from their side, but like we're at that phase in the game where archery is not amazing,
Yeah.
but you still are rolling with like mostly kind of come and get it nukem stacks.
Yep. Yep. There's a lot of, what do you call it? The humor option, I think. Yeah.
Mhm.
Those long dead horsemen are not having a very nice time
No,
getting
they're not.
blasted.
And he's, I think, about to
And
be HP routed.
yeah, long dead horsemen are at least nice on that front because they're pretty low HP. So you can
Right.
lose a lot of them before they rat everyone. But we are probably getting there.
Yeah. Man, what do we have coming out here? We've got lightning bolts, charm, falling frosts, animate dead, magma bolts, smite demon, thunderstrike, fireball, horde of skeletons, frozen heart, solar
The horde of
rays,
skeletons is
combustion.
sort of a waste because they sort of melt on their own. You can say
Yeah.
I'm using some stolen givers for bodyguards, somebody important. But yeah, I mean, structurally the sort of, and I don't know why Wailing Winds isn't cast. I think it must be that my Wailing Wind caster something go wrong, because that was part of my plan, at least, was to
Yeah.
out all the mages if they stayed inside. You can
So
see
that's
three dasters died. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Wailing Winds caster happened to take a crossbow early in the fighter.
Yeah. Win. Go here for a second and then let's see if we found it.
Yeah, I don't
Right,
know if it's
Dad?
worth just trying to find him. There's a lot of them. But yeah, we didn't even die early. Yeah, so something else must have done. Biggie died in a previous battle. I noticed when moving my stack around.
Daster. I guess he wouldn't have the gear on him, would he? Or he wouldn't even need gear. He could do it through a Sabbath.
Yeah, if you've got an arrow around him. Yeah, so I think he must have died in some previous fight. I noticed
Okay.
or something. And I thought the raiding was a little interesting in this sort of into Gath's lands to the west. So this I was sort of surprised by. So this is sort of one of the things that's tricky about Blessed design for Gath is that givers come with magic weapons. So you don't
really want to take it.
really want to take it, though your Sair and your Levite Zealots want it. And he has a really strong stats flip. So like if you look at the stats on those Levite Zealots, 20 defense, 15 attack, he got the Throne of Water.
9
in addition
MR,
to it.
cough.
Yeah, exactly. But magic skills, right? And no MR and not a ton of strength. I think they've got +2.
I mean, that's going to be really good for Soul Vortex, though.
So and that guy gets pretty afflicted because I didn't give him a hat. So this is a blood hunting province. Like getting killed by solo vampire lord. I mean, he doesn't lose the mages, but it's a significant. Usually those are pretty nasty to go into. Obviously, we can see he doesn't have life for a life yet. I wanted to bring some attention to that because he's been doing some mind hunting. So I'm going to teleport some sorceresses onto that province where he is next turn. So we'll see a sort of a cool raiding fight there as well.
That's always a fun thing to do. Surprise!
So for viewers who aren't familiar with the mechanics there, when the sort of rituals that mages cast just get processed in order. So if somebody teleports an astral mage into a province that you'd cast Mind Hunt into, it's sort of a 50-50 chance for which of those gets resolved first, whether the teleport happens. The Mind Hunt, and if the teleport happens first, then the Mind Hunting mage is at risk of having their astral cord severed.
Yeah. True. So you can teleport more if you want to increase the odds. The other thing to do, of course, is Stealthy Astral. It's one of the things, I really love Stealthy Astral mages for that reason. It's one of the reasons I like Late Age Home, because they have like horror game, they have Mind Hunt game, they have anti-Mind Hunt game. And then
they've got the spies that will spread unrest and cause your opponent to feel like they need to send in patrollers somewhere.
Yeah, that too. They have a lot of things they can do. Any
So
other thrones we need to look at?
So we should watch the Atlantis. Oh, sorry, we already watched the bunch of last. I think
that's it, right?
we can. No, the moving on to the Patala Fort is interesting.
Okay.
A little bit interesting. It's a very large number of Bandar warriors who happen to be patrolling there. At this stage of late game stuff, it's not a big deal, but I'm sort of limited here in terms of what chaff I can bring because we're flying over enemy territory to get here. So this is, again, sort of an archer force with a few of the Draconians for a front line.
Right. And you've got Fog Warriors and you've got Aerofen. That's going to help a lot against the monkeys.
Yeah, and conflagration actually does a lot of work here because setting them on fire causes them to be sort of guaranteed to eventually die, given the heat scales. Obviously, like you would not expect anybody. Oh yeah, it is. Oh. Well, you would not expect anybody playing Batala this late in the game to be patrolling with 100 Vandar warriors. That's what the AI does when it has infinite troops. But
oops. Yeah, unsupported army. Go AI. Oh, Atlantis on top of this.
And unfortunately for them, because Winter, that's why everything is cold. Yeah, so
right.
Patala had taken heat scales, but the whole world is cold because Guard decided to freeze the world to keep me away from having blood magic.
Right.
I've transitioned back.
And oh my goodness, this is a lot of people in Gath. Is he gonna? I guess this is just to defend the capital. Hope we see a battle
he's gonna come marching out towards that northeastern throne, and I actually run. You can see that my plan is to run away. So
yeah,
I decided that
some good battles.
I know that there'll be a good battle when he tries to take it in 2 turns, but that'll be sort of the closing event for this series.
Cool. Let's go look at the next turn. All right, we got 59 here. So
you can see the
more disease
fourth
demons.
item there is a thing you always are excited to see early in your turn. A report from Flower Meadow Forest.
Wait, what?
Fourth item there, the one with the Atlantis flag.
Oh yeah.
So Atlantis cast Murdering Winter to defend their fort as Atlantis should. And we can watch the battle there. So this is me trying to storm this Atlantis throne. And you can see we lost a lot of our chaff, and they have put it in there, the monolith, to defend. And this is sort of one of the interesting things, because with Cold Rhaga, like all of my mages have 15 cold resistance, or sorry, all of my Cold Rhaga mages are. But, I wasn't, planning to fight Atlantis and hadn't, forged any cold resistance gear for the other mages. So I actually had a magus that was in this army who was supposed to do Army of Gold. And now I'm doing Firestorm without having cast Army of Gold. And so I'm going to actually burn all of my archers over the course of the battle.
Yeah, it's not hard to imagine how that's going to play out. Still some nice Thunderstrikes.
Yeah, I mean, I think my mages are largely fine, but eventually my troops sort of run out of, take enough DRN rolls that I think I cast Firefen. Like they had some, fire resistance, but because their base protection is so low, each roll is like at -2 or something. Firestorm has a lot of rolls. So,
and there's a monolith there,
and there's a monolith there. So this is sort of, I think, we recall earlier in the series, we had these discussions as to why I was casting so often Heat from Hell rather than Firestorm. And this is the class of thing that I was worried about, is that a lot of the sort of Cold Rhaga troops, like, because I don't have access to earth magic for something like Marble Warriors, or at least, didn't have a lot of it, and I didn't have Army of Gold researched, there's a lot of friendly fire damage.
The safest thing you can do with these battlefield wipes, if it's something you're really worried about, is have the same guy who's going to cast the wipe also cast the protection spell.
That's true. And with
the classic thing is like you have an Archdevil who's Fire 4, and you have him do Fire Fend, and then after Phoenix Power, Fire Fend, Firestorm, and then you can't really mess it up. Like if he dies, that's it. I mean, it can still mess up. You could get interrupted in the first one, skip to the second, but it's as good as you're going to get.
Said this is exactly what I did. I think that the guy who cast Firestorm is the turn sorcerer, and he did Fire Fend. But the problem is, I really needed.
So you did have fire resistance. You just didn't have the.
I think so.
Let's check.
I didn't double check, but I did.
Fire resistance. Did you do mass protect?
So maybe I optimized, or the Fire Fend guy was a heat mage and also died. I must have done it with somebody different. Yeah, you're right.
So anyway, cool battle though. I mean, he still lost a lot. This was very Pyrrhic, His mage core here was mostly dead. Troops weren't as bad for him.
Yeah.
But I mean, this isn't a horrible trade for you either. Like you didn't lose that many mages. Sea King lived. War mages come back.
The War Mage will come back.
You lost this guy. That's a little sad.
Those are only like 12 pearls or something. It's not too bad. And you could also see Atlantis moved on to one of my thrones further down, and that is more of a budget defense for me. He also wins that battle, but it's worth watching because it's the type of thing you need to worry about moving on to a cold Rhaga fort with an army that has a bunch of siege chaff. So this is just sort of some thrown together, PD and fire snakes and a few of my Zeodins. And it's just, we need to, stall and do
Decent damage.
And I guess he was doing the Fall Vipers, which is, again, just always feels surprising that Atlantis is gassing you. But
it looks like you were successful here in clearing the chaff out.
we got 2 Cap-only mages, 5 more mages, and all the Long Dead Horsemen.
Yeah. So that's worth it. Because especially in this particular situation, you just need to make it so you can't put enough siege chaff on here to crack it.
Yeah. So I think I put iron walls up with my Pretender before it flew to the other throne where we saw it just 2 turns ago. And
so that's not happening anytime soon.
It's not going to do anything.
This fort you took, there's not much inside worth watching. Oh, here they're trying to snipe your god or something with that.
Yeah, I think just trying to cause some trouble with Earth attack. Agartha is at least awake enough to be doing that.
Yeah.
And
these guys are hanging tight. You're preaching here.
I decided to just leave that army put because I didn't think I really needed it.
And then this will be the fun thing. You've got this will be the all scripted up. Tons of mages all spread out. Going to be peppering these dudes.
And as you can see, I put 70 PD on the province.
Oh my gosh,
because, why not?
Okay, well, so next episode is actually going to be really exciting. We're going to get to see this big battle. And I guess we've already, this is pretty much it then. I mean,
that's the end of the sort of, I mean,
this throne you're not getting.
I've given up on taking that throne, and
right.
Atlantis has successfully defended it, but I don't need it. So
basically, what do you need left to win at this point? You've got let's take a look at the thrones.
Yeah.
You've got 5 thrones, you need 2 more to win. And I think you probably have them, I'm guessing, right?
I think I have them. I think the game will have 2 more turns because I actually had it's sort of one of the funny things about this map is I had no access to water provinces for a long time, so I wasn't able to summon a bishop fish. And if you may recall, my prophet got killed in the first storming of Zavalba, and so I've actually just been waiting, in order to be able to bring my prophet back. So I think this turn I'm profiting like a vampire lord in that throne I took from Gath in the southwest.
Where's the silver throne?
That's the one I just took from Gath.
It's
in the south. 2 provinces southwest. Yes, there.
Okay. So this one you have to claim, and then also the one you just took from Patala here, and you win.
I think
is that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Because you're at 5, you need 2 more. Yeah.
Need 1 more.
Throne of Fortune. Oh, you're right. 1 more. Okay, so you'll win by.
I think I'll
by 2 because you have the Throne of Fortune and the Silver Throne.
Yes, but I think I'm making a profit this turn in the Silver Throne, so I think that's why the game doesn't ask 2 more turns.
Oh, well, cool. Well,
actually, do you want to look at just west of the Silver Throne? There was a little bit of a raiding fight that I thought was interesting. That one, yes. So this is a little sort of squad of Levite zealots with some skelly spammers.
Yeah,
and
I like this.
The main thing which I thought was interesting is, so my squad has some PD and some archers, and it's the behavior of that mage who's running forward that I thought was interesting. So he
did some Frozen Hearts.
PD gets routed. He's doing some Frozen Hearts. And then when they get up close, he starts doing Farcaster Shockwave across the archers. And it's not a thing that I've seen happen before. Got a little lucky there. Yeah. It's just it's not a.
I can go back and watch it. That was interesting.
Like, Shockwave normally has a range of 2, and it increases it to 3. And it's not a use case for Shockwave that with Farcaster that I'd seen before. So I just thought it was.
Yeah, and the Middle Age Alm game that didn't go up where I got like 4v1s. I think it was Balls, Chris Lighthawk, Hezekiah, and Stone Troll. And anyway, Balls' build was like a Eru build with death scales that had Farcaster and a bunch of shock resistance, and it was all about throwing Shockwave in front of your shock-resistant troops.
Okay.
Which you would think would be good against Olm, but I mopped the floor with him. But yeah, what I was going to say is kind of odd is look at hit here and then it like procs to random tiles. That isn't controllable. Yeah. So
he should have killed the square in front of him just as likely as
exactly. So you can't really, you got a good roll there, but what it does do is it makes it much easier to cast it with some troops in front, so you don't actually have to be in the front line, which is a problem with Shockwave, because if you're in the front line, there's a good chance that you're going to be tied up in melee and not casting spells.
In addition to the good chance that, you're a fragile mage with no armor.
Right.
Being in melee is the death of you.
But yeah, I mean, you can still do that with range 2. It's just a little easier with range 3. So
yeah, absolutely. But actually, we can the other 2 rating battles in the gas cap circle are also cool, but we can leave those for the next episode. Maybe that'll be a good opening thing.
This looks kind of funny though.
Yeah.
Gath has not found much success with his thugs. I think I coined this, that thugs are a vehicle to transfer gems from less experienced players to more experienced.
Yeah.
It's just like this guy, you're like, oh, it's just one guy. But this guy was fucking expensive. It's like a small global, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, like 40 gems. Jesus.
Yeah. And this is, the sorcerers that I teleported in to just kill mind hunters,
Oh, right.
and gave her some air gems, right? So that one is actually a little bit interesting. This one is worth talking about just because it is sort of a thing that one starts to do, I think, when one gets more experience. So this army has, my raiding party has 2 liches in it. And one of the things that you often see people do in the late game is they send solo liches to raid PD. That's really dangerous. You tend to get yourself mind hunted pretty relentlessly with that. And also, this is a blood hunting province. They're going to summon a bunch of imps. That would totally ruin just liches forests. So
maybe
here I have.
Maybe. Yeah, liches with invulnerability and cell vortex are not going to get killed by imps.
Yeah. It's. I guess you have to make sure that you script invulnerability turn 1. They definitely will.
You could probably even do it turn 2 because they have to summon the imps, right? And then the imps have to fly. I'm pretty sure you get 2 spells off before they land. But
yeah. So maybe not so bad. But one of the things I was doing here, I guess the Astral Mage.
Well, I do like when you just have other commanders with them, because it's like, okay, liches are annoying when they raid, but just having other threat vectors mixed in there with them, it's like harder to counter. It's harder to mind hunt them. A bunch of things.
The free ghoul from Horde from Hell is sort of perfect for that because it's a commander that's almost worthless,
right?
But it wastes a mind hunt cast.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's
well, cool. So let's end this episode here, and then everyone tune in next time, and we'll watch this big Gath battle. So until then,
see y'all.